Sometimes, life tests us in ways we could never imagine. Sometimes, the people who seem the weakest turn out to be the strongest, and very often, that strength comes from one word: mother. Today, I'll tell you a story that will touch your heart. It's about a mother who had every reason to give up, but she chose to fight, not for herself, but for her child. There was once a woman named Amina. She lived in a small village where the nights were quiet and the mornings were filled with the sound of roosters and children running barefoot to school. Amina wasn't rich. In fact, she barely had enough to survive. Her husband had left years ago, leaving her alone with her little son, Rahim. Every morning, Amina would wake up before the sun rose. She would walk 2 miles to fetch water, collect firewood, and then return home to cook a small breakfast for Rahim. While she worked, she often whispered to herself, "One day, Rahim will have a better life than this. I will make sure of it." But life wasn't kind to her. She worked in the fields, carrying heavy loads under the burning sun. Her hands became rough, her back ached, and yet she never complained. One day, Rahim came home from school with tears in his eyes. "Mother," he said, "the teacher asked us to bring books, but I don't have any. The other children laughed at me." Amina's heart broke. That night, she couldn't sleep. She stared at the roof of her little hut, listening to the sound of rain dripping through the cracks. She had no money for books. She barely had money for food. But then something inside her whispered, "Don't give up. If you can't give him books today, give him hope. If you can't give him wealth, give him courage." So the next morning, Amina made a decision. She would work harder than ever before. She took extra jobs in the fields. She washed clothes for wealthier families. She sold vegetables in the market. Every coin she earned, she saved for Rahim's education. The days turned into months, the months into years, and with every struggle, Amina grew weaker. Her body was tired, but her spirit was unbreakable. One evening, Rahim sat beside her and said, "Mother, why do you work so hard? You never buy clothes for yourself. You never rest. Why?" Amina looked into his eyes, smiled softly, and said, "Because my dream is not for me, my son. My dream is you." Those words stayed in Rahim's heart forever. Years later, Rahim finished school. He went to college, and finally, after years of sacrifices, he became a doctor. The boy who once cried for books now held the power to save lives. At his graduation ceremony, Rahim looked for his mother in the crowd. He saw her. Her clothes were still simple, her hands still rough, but her eyes were shining brighter than anyone else's. When he received his degree, he walked straight to her. He placed the certificate in her hands and whispered, "This is not mine, Mother. This is yours. You never gave up." And in that moment, Amina's tears fell freely. Tears not of sadness, but of victory. She had nothing in the world, but she had given everything. And that was enough. This story teaches us something powerful. True strength is not measured by muscles, money, or status. True strength is the power to keep going when everything tells you to stop. A mother's love is one of the purest examples of that strength. Amina could have given up. She could have accepted a life of poverty, but she didn't. She fought, she sacrificed, and she endured because her dream was bigger than her pain. And here's the lesson for all of us. If you feel like giving up, remember why you started. If life feels unfair, remember every struggle is shaping you into someone stronger. And if you think your dream is impossible, remember Amina. Remember the mother who never gave up.